Good evening. So this morning at 11 a.m., deputies responded to the 6100 block of Hialeah Street in reference to a shooting. Once there, they found a woman who was in her 20s who was shot and succumbed to her injuries. Our homicide detectives responded to that scene, conducted follow-up, collected evidence, and developed good leads on the suspect in that case this morning. At 4:05, we received 911 calls about another shooting at that location and a shooting nearby. On Hialeah Street, deputies located two men who had been shot in or near a vehicle. They are a News 13 reporter and photographer who were on the scene to cover the homicide from this morning. On Harrington Street, a woman and her 9-year-old girl were also shot inside of a home. It is unclear why the suspect entered that home. The victims were transported to nearby hospitals, and tragically, one of the News 13 employees has passed. So we have detained the person believed to be responsible for the murder this morning, as well as the shootings this afternoon. He is 19-year-old Keith Melvin Moses. He is being formally charged in the murder from this morning, and we expect additional charges for the shootings of the 4 people this afternoon. At 19, he has a lengthy criminal history to include gun charges, aggravated battery and assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, and grand theft charges. So I want to acknowledge what a horrible day this has been for our community and our media partners. I work closely with all of you and know many of you and know the very difficult job that you do, and also the very important job that you do for our community and for law enforcement. No one in our community, not a mother, not a 9-year-old, and certainly not news professionals, should become the victim of gun violence in our community. So at this time, I'm happy to take questions from you.
Sheriff, did he see the news crew in that area? Was he returning to the scene, saw them there, and then fired? What does he say?
So the suspect is not saying much right now. It is unclear if he knew they were news media or not. We're still trying to work all of that out. That vehicle was almost exactly in the same spot as the vehicle was from the homicide this morning. So it's unclear why exactly they were targeted, and certainly we're going to look into that, and we will definitely let you know.
How's the child doing?
So still in critical condition, and we'll notify you of the outcome soon.
Do we know if the shootings were connected?
So the shooting this morning, the 2 shootings of the 2 news reporters and the shooting of the mother and the 9-year-old child are all connected. The same suspect, Mr. Moses, is responsible for all those shootings. He's been charged, formally charged in the murder this morning, and we expect charges soon on all of the other victims.
Do you know if he was targeting them because they were a news crew? He saw them going on TV, talking about a crime he's being accused of. Was this news crew targeted?
It's hard to know if he was targeting this news crew. Again, that'll be all part of our investigation. I was out there at the scene. The vehicle doesn't really look like a news vehicle to me. But then again, there was a photographer there, so that's possible. But that's all part of our investigation. He was an acquaintance of the woman this morning, but as far as we know, had no connection to the reporters and no connection to the mother and a 9-year-old, and we were unknown. We don't know why he entered that home.
How many shots were fired into the vehicle?
I don't have the information on how many shots were fired at this time.
Does it speak to a larger picture of media and safety and violence towards media within the last few years? You as the sheriff, do you find that extra concerning, even investigating the possibility?
So in this area, we have not had any violence against our media partners, but certainly we have seen that around the nation and around the world. So that's something we're definitely going to be taking a look at and see if we can put the pieces together and see why this happened.
Are there any indications that perhaps the suspect thought he may have been targeting law enforcement? I know sometimes our vehicles look very similar, especially their unmarked Fords. Any indications of that?
So again, the vehicle didn't look like a typical news vehicle with a lot of markings on it. It's possible that he could have mistaken them for law enforcement. I just don't know at this time. Like I said, there was a photographer there, and both were in or near the vehicle. So you really don't know what was in the mind of this suspect. And hopefully at some point he'll talk to us about what his motives were. But regardless, he's eventually going to be charged with the murder this morning and then the 4 shootings this afternoon. Definitely murder on the news reporter.
Sheriff,
When
what
this
was the
happened,
condition
was
of the
there
young
any-
girl?
What now?
What's the condition of the woman and the young girl?
So right now, critical condition and at the hospital.
When this happened, was there any agent from Orange County investigating the prior murder?
No, so we had cleared the scene. The prior homicide happened at 11 o'clock in the morning. It happened in a vehicle. That vehicle was towed for processing. The detectives had already done their canvass of the neighborhood and had cleared the scene, and were out actually following leads on this suspect, Moses, because they quickly developed him as a suspect in this case.
Sheriff, did you know that he was the suspect you were looking for the earlier murder before he returned to that area?
Yeah, that's unclear at this time. He was detained and arrested near that area right after the 2 shootings. Very good description was given out. Deputies located him in the exact same clothes that he was wearing during the shootings. And once they did detain him, homicide detectives who were familiar with him from the previous case said, yeah, that's our same guy from the earlier homicide.
Sheriff, do you know how long Moses has lived in this area at 19? Seems like he's been up to a lot.
Yeah, I do not know how long the suspect has lived in this area.
And just to be clear, it was a News 13 reporter and a photographer, correct? There was 2 different titles there.
That's correct. So they were both in or near the vehicle, a reporter and a photographer. And unfortunately, one has passed.
What is the condition of the other person?
So the mother is in, critical condition. Right.
What's the condition of the photographer?
Yeah. So there is one News 13 media person who has passed from his injuries. The other person is being treated at the hospital.
Do you know the situation at the hospital? Is it on lockdown right now? Why?
I have no idea if there's any kind of situation at the hospital, not to my knowledge. We have plenty of deputies in that area.
Has there been any reports of witnesses saying that the suspect looked at several news vehicles or several vehicles to shoot inside?
I am not aware of any reports that the suspect was looking at any other news vehicles.
Any suspicious activity just looking into the vehicles?
I have not heard that yet, no.
Was the homicide this morning domestic related? The suspect and the victim?
So that's unclear. It seems like there were 3 people in the car. The suspect shot the victim as they were in that vehicle on Hialeah. So I'm assuming they were acquaintances. We just don't know the exact relationship at this point. Okay, so tragically, we have just learned that the 9-year-old has also succumbed to her injuries. We were waiting on next of kin notification, so just wanted to let you know that. So we have the 20-year-old female who was shot and killed this morning has died. We have one of the news media personnel has died, and now the 9-year-old child has also passed from the gunshot wounds as well. So again, our hearts go out to her mom, who's also fighting for her life, and her father, and all of her family members, and of course, prayers and condolences to the news media and their family and friends of these media professionals.
Everybody okay? Sheriff, do you have a ballpark idea of how many other people were in that area around 4 o'clock today? Did other people witness this?
So we're doing our canvas right now. I mean, it was 4 o'clock, so chances are there were people out and about. We're doing all the normal things we do during an investigation, looking for doorbell cameras and other cameras in the area. We're reviewing all that footage and certainly tracking down all the witnesses that we can.
I'm sorry, can you reiterate, do we know whether the suspect had any connection to the mom?
So that is unclear right now. So how it all worked, of course, we had the homicide earlier this morning. At some point around 4 o'clock, he returns to the scene. He goes to the vehicle where the news media people are at. He shoots both the people from News 13, Then he goes up to Harrington Street and takes a left, and there's a brown house up there. He walks inside the house and shoots the 9-year-old and the mom. And right now, we're unclear as to why he shot them in that house. Really unclear as to why he shot at the news vehicle as well.
And he isn't saying anything for himself.
No, he wasn't saying anything. We did, when deputies located him and arrested him, he was armed with a handgun, which we believe will link him to these cases as well.
So just to confirm, the other News 13 employees, are they in critical condition?
Yeah, they're in critical condition, correct.
Where was the suspect arrested?
About a block away from Hialeah. About a block away from the scene on Hialeah. It's all very close where it all happened.
Everybody good? Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, thank you.